Chapter 12, the nervous system and nervous tissue. Our nervous system regulates all the body activities, and it is made of two huge parts: central nervous system, CNS, that would be our brain, and the spinal cord. That is the integration and command center of the body. And all other nerves that originate from the brain or from the spinal cord and go into all the muscles, organs, and tissues are called together peripheral nervous system, or PNS. Nerves originating from the spinal cord are called spinal nerves. Nerves originating from the brain are called cranial nerves. Peripheral nervous system is made of two divisions, sensory and motor. So sensory division, or also it's called afferent, carries signals from the body to the brain and spinal cord. It is divided into somatic and visceral fibers. Somatic carries signals from our skin, muscles, and joints. For example, you touch ice, and that ice is cold. How do you know it's cold? Because somatic afferent fibers carried the signals from your skin and your fingers to your brain. Visceral afferent fibers carry impulses from the organs. When you're hungry, you have that sensation in your stomach. You know that you're hungry. It means that special visceral fibers carried signals from your stomach to your brain. Motor or afferent division carries impulses from the brain and spinal cord to the effector organs, like muscles and glands. It means when you want to take something, like you want to take a cup from the table, your brain sends signals and spinal cord to the muscles in your arm and hand, and you take that cup from the table. Okay, motor division also is divided into somatic and autonomic. Somatic or voluntary nervous system controls our skeletal muscles only. That was example with a cup. When you want to take it voluntary, you can activate it, your muscles, skeletal muscles of your arm. But we also have autonomic or involuntary nervous system. Those are visceral motor nerve fibers that go from the brain or spinal cord to all the smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, and glands in the body. And they regulate functions of organs and glands. And we cannot control voluntarily our stomach, our intestine functions, our glands like thyroid glands, our heart, so it's involuntary. Autonomic nervous system is divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic, mostly regulation during stress, both physical when we have to move or emotional stress, and parasympathetic nervous system regulates our organs during inactivity, at rest. Here is a chart that will help you to memorize all the parts of the nervous system. So that is a nervous system right here, divided into peripheral, brain and spinal cord, central, brain and spinal cord, and peripheral, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Sensory division or afferent carries information from the organs and tissues to the brain and spinal cord. Somatic nerves carry information from skin, muscles, and joints. Visceral from organs and glands. Motor division carries information from the brain and spinal cord to the organs and tissues. It is divided into somatic, regulating skeletal muscles, and it's voluntary, and autonomic, regulating organs and glands, smooth muscles and cardiac muscles, and it's involuntary. During the stress, sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system is working during activity, and parasympathetic works during rest. In details, we will talk about all of them later. Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue has two main types of cells: neurons, or main nervous cells carrying electrical impulses or action potentials. And all other cells are called neuroglia or glial cells, and those will be supporting cells. Supporting cells, there are 6 types of them. 4 of them exist in the brain and spinal cord, central nervous system: astrocytes, microglia, ependymal cells, and oligodendrocytes. And 2 types of the glial cells are located in the peripheral nervous system: satellite cells and Schwann cells. You need to know functions of each of them. So astrocytes first. In the brain and spinal cord, they are most abundant cells, highly branched, and they exist to support and brace neurons, keep them in place. They also create blood-brain barrier. It means they are sitting between neurons and blood vessels. They receive all the nutrients and chemicals from the blood and transfer them to their nervous cells. But they can stop some certain harmful chemicals from entering the neuron, and that is called blood-brain barrier. So astrocytes sitting there as a barrier, filtering the substances that go to the nervous cells. Microglial cells, here they are small, with a lot of small processes, and they usually are sitting next to the injured neurons, or sometimes when there is any inflammation caused by bacteria or viruses. So they can clean that debris and they can destroy those microorganisms. Ependymal cells, here they are. Inside of our brain, there are brain cavities, and those brain cavities contain special cerebrospinal fluid. So those ependymal cells are lining the brain cavities, ventricles, and help to produce cerebrospinal fluid. Finally, in the central nervous system, we have oligodendrocytes. Here they are, and they are strange cells. So the yellow portion is an axon, extension of the neuron, but all that green portion, those are extensions of oligodendrocytes. That is a cell with a cell nucleus with a lot of extension, and each of those extensions is wrapped over the portion of the neuron axon, just like a roll of toilet paper, literally. And together they form insulating myelin sheath. So altogether that insulation is called myelin sheath, insulating one axon from another axon, so electrical signals would not cross from one neuron to another. Next one, satellite cells and Schwann cells exist in the peripheral nervous system. In the peripheral nervous system, we also have neurons. There are cell body, and cell bodies need some protection, and those would be satellite cells sitting on the surface of cell bodies in the peripheral nervous system. And axons of those neurons need protection too. They need myelin sheaths. Here, myelin sheaths will be provided by Schwann cells. Each cell is separate cell. It's not just an extension of a cell like oligodendrocytes. It's just a flat cell wrapped several times around the axon.